Enter Park Woojin, literally the dude with the craziest luck aura you'll ever witness. This guy exactly looks like your basic bro, but the vibe check he fails spectacularly. Why? Because bro is the ultimate level 1 Reese virgin, stuck at 21 years without scoring. It's not just zero maidens, it's negative numbers. To fix this L, Woojin went full big brain mode like a protagonist unlocking a secret skill tree. He whipped up some otherworldly devices to keep his legendary weapon sharpened for the inevitable final boss fight of his life. Every single time the paycheck hit, Woojin would yeet it all on Amazon Prime one-day delivery for gear to power up his experience. But then one day, the happy buy notification pinged, but Woojin had zero clue, absolutely clueless, that a weapon-packing, unimaginable power was about to drop ship right onto his doorstep. It's June 69, the final boss stage of the semester for our protagonist. Everything was giving normal NPC vibes except, obviously, Bro was lagging hard and was late to class because he was stressing about his Roblox rival's win streaks last night. Luckily, Woojin's through-the-roof anxiety, which was over level 9,000, did a quick skibbity dip when a homie behind him was like, "You ain't the only one late, my guy." Seconds later, an absolute bombshell walked through the door, radiating zero-care energy. It was none other than Shin Aoyang, the literal goddess of the nerd engineering department. Apparently, Aoyang is one of the, 3 girls in the entire 1,000-man department, but based... Yes, she passes the hotness scale with flying colors like max physical stats. Regardless, with Aoyang seated, Woojin couldn't even help himself, so his eyes were glued onto her. But then he noticed the desk below her looking like it was straight up struggling to support the mythical dragons she was born with. Suddenly, as our bro continued to hit her with that Sigma stare, unblinking like a sussy baka, Aoyang accidentally dropped her pen. Critical item drop, it tumbled right onto the floor beside her. But since Woojin was still stuck in paralysis mode, mesmerized by her aura, bro got a glimpse of pure heaven. He watched Aoyang initiate the bending over animation, like she was dropping from the battle bus to retrieve a legendary loot item. Woojin snapped back around, shocked Pikachu face, realizing he finally saw the greatest gift life had to offer him on the very last day of college. At the same time, he fought his inner demons to keep his own battle bus from exiting the map known as his pants. Fast forward to the evening, we find Woojin absolutely speedrunning, out of breath after running home as fast as humanly possible. Finally, some content. He had a brand new item to use his ultimate technique on. Unfortunately, as bro used his level 1 skill in handling sussy packages right out in the open, he got caught lacking. It felt like he forgot to add skill points in the social department. Nonetheless, our guy just sat there, radiating awkwardness, unsure of what to do, so he did nothing. His next-door neighbor, a poor unsuspecting NPC, stared back, probably thinking she just got ganked by the sussy Fire Nation. Upon barely seeing something suspiciously pink poking out of the package, the neighbor swiftly disconnected, running back inside and slamming the door, probably spamming erase memory emotes. But because Woojin is literally an absolute menace to society, bro just went full Sigma. He didn't even care, so he continued opening everything out in the open, still a mega chad in his own Delulu world. Now that everything was fully unboxed, our boy was left in absolute awe. Sugoi! He proceeded to pull out the special item like it was some kind of lonely holy grail, whispering "Kuei" under his breath. Long story short, it's revealed Woojin ordered a shiny new robotic device. Its purpose? To allow him to train his epic sword fighting skills with a lifelike replica. It even came with its own modern-day cannons. The only things the replica seemed to be missing were a head part and maybe some arms and legs. Minor stuff. Nevertheless, Woojin set the replica up in his bedroom. He continued his epic quest of becoming the biggest sussy baka known to mankind, hyping himself saying this is bussin'. Eventually, Woojin activated the back of his sussy mind, like unlocking a hidden basement. He began to think of people he'd seen in person, loading their character models to imagine them as the replica before unleashing his water splash ultimate on the brand new device. However, today was a special login bonus day for our guy. He dedicated this sparring session to the goddess Aoyang, allowing him to enter the forbidden Demon King trance. After his eyes disappeared like they do in those peak evil villain manga panels, bro spent the next few attacks trying to absolutely obliterate his opponent Unit 07, but something felt off. Woojin mumbled to himself, wondering why his fresh dragon sword technique couldn't cleanly destroy his opponent with ease like the other training units. Confused as to why Unit number 7 was absorbing hits way too well, bro decided the only logical step was the opposite of caution. With Woojin moving like he had 5 stars on GTA 6, bro just couldn't stop thinking about how Agent 7 was built different, miles better than the others he's tried. Regardless, he finally started catching the flow state when the whole room started an earthquake warning, shaking like that one friend with a maxed out Phantom tax build decided to try and do the gritty in your room. But midway through his rank grind sesh with 7, Woojin realized this wasn't giving chill practice object energy like the Amazon description promised. Nah fam, this felt like a full-on boss fight, pushing back with main character syndrome. Agent 7's defensive walls were collapsing against our boy's Bard King only raid on Clash of Clans, but Woojin's own feet were doing that weird curl thing like a ramen noodle. Suddenly, mid-duel, he saw the defeat screen for the first time ever, so he had to pull his Barb King out before the 5-minute mark even hit. A true skill issue moment. Totally dumbfounded that he just got ratioed by an inanimate object during a training arc, Bro sat there in silence, watching a mysterious river flow across the battlefield. Eventually, he snapped out of his trance and decided to be a good human by cleaning up the mess he started in his own private dojo. However, while using the shower head like a clumsy water-style jutsu user to clean the battleground, Bro witnessed a part of 7 move. Nani? He told himself it was just tired-induced hallucinations, but upon finishing cleaning, he went to drop a chaotic review on the website he scooped 7 from, only to find the site didn't just not exist anymore, it got Thanos. Totally perplexed, like his Wi-Fi just gave up, Woojin booted up Google, Bing, and even Yahoo search like some ancient ritual, but still the company or product model was nowhere to be found. He spent the rest of the night wondering if this was his Isekai origin story or just a really messed up dream, especially since Agent 07 wasn't even being chilling in his Amazon order history. Meanwhile, across town, Hyun was glued to her bed like some alien force was using the force to keep mobility locked. She felt like she was straight up possessed, trapped in some unknown curse. Fast forward to the morning, Woojin decided to shrug it off. New era unlocked, free product enjoyer. He'd gladly take the loot, especially since it was effective. Anyway, since Woojin's got that Asian parent energy looming like a final boss fight, he knew he had to sign up for another semester over the summer or face instant deletion from existence. As he sifted through the member list for the online class, a familiar name popped up. Instantly, Bro had to tune into Ayoung's camera. We all know Woojin is the ultimate sussy Becca when it comes to her. The class started intros, and when it was Ayoung's turn, she looked like she just fought a demon lord and lost. Her voice was raspy, totally not her usual voice actress tier sound. Worried, the professor asked if she was okay in front of everyone, but Ayoung mumbled an excuse about not sleeping, giving off total mysterious sad girl vibes. After hearing his #1 crush was basically up all night, Woojin's sip brain immediately went to she must have a boyfriend. Rip my chances mode unironically. But this didn't stop Bro's degenerate brain from instantly imagining Ayoung as Agent 7 for his next training arc session, right there in the middle of class, so he told himself he couldn't wait to try out the free product again. Now deep in his sussy dream dimension, Bro snapped back to reality when his custom scuff controller, plugged in and chilling, started vibrating like it just smelled a Warzone game. Woojin tried his best to ignore the call of the grind. Class had just started and he needed to focus or his grades would keep plummeting faster than his self-esteem. But just a couple more minutes into successfully avoiding the awakened controller's call, he heard a super cute hiccup coming from Ayoung. His brain immediately rebooted. Discipline level, critical failure. The absolute menace decided he had enough of learning. Time for a critical side quest, so he reached down underneath his desk. It was revealed Agent 7 was nearby, waiting for its moment. Completing his stealth mission to get 7 right beside him without anyone noticing, Max sneak achieved, no mic audio picked up, Woojin activated full screen on Ayoung's camera. This was peak degeneracy, but priorities, right? Anyways, Bro thought he was going unseen, entering his epic silent era thanks to maximum stealth mode, but when he was about to place Excalibur directly onto Merlin's crystal, the class got hit with a squeal so loud it sounded like someone just got clapped into the next dimension. Their AirPods sent flying across the room, and because the professor has cams and microphones on always no matter what, Ayoung had to quickly apologize, bless her heart. She kept them with the bug ganked my room excuse, but her face? Nah, her face was giving caught in 4K doing something sus type of energy. Luckily for her, Prof just accepted her apology and kept going to deliver a very valuable lesson. But Woojin glanced at Ayoung's cam feed and his eyes went wide. Her strap was performing an unplanned action, so he watched her try to hide the visual like it was the One Piece ending, then quietly spilled the tea. He was actually living his Discord mod fantasy. He lowered his mic volume since it's time to go Super Saiyan. Powered up by this random chaos, Bro activated his ultimate sussy jutsu level 99. He started hitting the sealed gates in front of Agent 7, but every time he landed a blow, audio cues popped off from what seemed like Ayoung's side. Now, a basic person would be like, what's that sound? But Woojin being built different, he saw this as his moment to push his limit break, way past the return button. He figured his crush, Yang, might be on the same grind, so his brain began buffering, thinking that she could totally be as sussy as him. So he kept pushing deep into the limit break zone. Then he paused. The sounds from Yang's microphone were perfectly synchronized with his moves. Ping was literally 0 ms. This level of reality bending wasn't right, so he tried experimenting, testing the input lag because bro felt this cannot be reality. Before he could figure it out, 7 started moving on its own. He looked down, watching 7 looking like it had gained sentience while completely missing the fact that Ayoung's camera feed was now giving off serious possessed demon queen vibes. Then his Xbox controller pieced out. It went full self-destruct, probably from overuse, so upon explosion, bro noticed some other water type was mixed in. He glanced back at Ayoung's feed where he noticed she was suspiciously drying something off. Bam, the pieces clicked. His brain went nanny. Deep within the susverse that is his mind, it dawned on him, Steven might be connected to Ayoung. There was no way this was just a coincidence in this simulation. Just as he was prepping his next special attack, the class bell rang. Class ended, leaving him with an unwavering desire for answers, so this was his new main quest. Luckily for our boy, the universe wasn't done soft launching plot points. Right after class, he got a call from an unknown number. He hesitated. Is this a scam? Is this my Indian prince moment? He missed it. But then, plot armor activated. The vendor sent a follow-up text message telling him where to find out more information about this device and where you guys can read this. He then subscribed faster than you can say skibidi toilet and found the website where it spelled the T. This device was OP, a literal connect to anyone hack. You could even zero in on your crush as long as you can picture them in your mind. Bro also learns that making his targets happy gave him IRL XP that he can use to level up and unlock hidden powerful features. Suddenly, a screen popped up on his phone, a literal character sheet for Yang. It showed her stats, her age, even her preferred defensive position in a raid. Weird, but okay. Then everything started making a bit of sense, like a weird, slightly too sussy type of assembling. At the same time, Woojin let out a gasp so dramatic it probably echoed all the way to Japan, so he begins thinking, must be the main character now fully knowing that has become the wielder of ultimate power. Meanwhile, at Ayang's place, she was stuck buffering in her seat. Her brain couldn't compute the past 2 days of chaos. She thought last night was just a vivid fever dream. But that smell, it wasn't hers. It was giving unexplained phenomena vibes, as she knows this smell all too well. As such, she begins thinking so hard that a flashback sequence started showcasing that her aura stat was always maxed out. Guys would literally freeze around her like glitching NPCs. Her own friends couldn't handle all the guys looking their way since it was too much side character energy for them. Yeah, we know her life was kinda peak weird already, but this new chaos was a whole different level. Eventually, Aeon finally hit college, and her main character arc immediately got ambushed by non-stop Riz attacks from every random dude she encountered. Nani? But this time, her squad were real ones. They had her back, even insisting she needed a boyfriend side quest, thinking it'd help with the unwanted advances from random simps on the street. So some random chap won the lottery, and Aeon ended up with a temporary shield, causing the cringe attention to drop a bit. However, this lucky guy turned out to be not so Sigma when Aeon explained her logic. She picked him because he seemed the most logical. Like, she didn't really like him that much, and she claimed she never even felt the butterflies with him. Now back in the present timeline, after intense brain grinding to figure out what was ganking her, Aeon forced herself off her seat like a startled cat and started yelling at the empty space, demanding some ghost sensei to stop its shenanigans. Unfortunately for her, instead of a spectral entity revealing itself, Woojin the Sussy Baka did what he does best. He activated Agent 7 again, catching Aeon completely off guard. Turns out, after speed reading the wiki on his overnight godlike powers, Bro decided it was time for round 2 of his invisible duel, now that he knew he was technically fighting against the real target this time. Seconds later, Aeon went flying across the room like she got clipped by a bomb rush and landed on her queen-size bed like an absolute ragdoll. Realizing an unwanted Blox Fruits raid was dropping indoors, she did a popping peek around but found nothing, even after checking for any invisible objects. After doing a thorough check to see if this wasn't just a prank, Aeon got flipped over like a low-budget McDonald's burger with no pickles. Desperate, she decided she needed Google for a cure, thinking it might be some weird hallucination status effect. But before she could even open Chrome and search what the heck is happening to her, Aeon had to start defending against invisible sussy-style jutsu attacks that seemed to be coming from absolutely nowhere. After like 2 whole minutes of our boy landing perfect crits over and over, Aeon decided this might just be her dream arc, and honestly, she claimed it was kind of a pretty good one TBA. But just when she thought the dream was about to end its session, our Susibaka took a quick pause before charging up his ultimate might, allowing him to dive deeper into the undiscovered dungeon map. Regardless, an entire hour passed, and with Aoyang unable to withstand the legendary attacks from the Sussy King, her HP dropped to 0. She passed out and woke up a bit later only to notice a wild lactose-free milk jug had spawned right under her feet. Nani? Fast forward to the next morning, we find our boy Woojin grinding XP, busy trying to figure out how to discreetly fit Unit 7 Kun into his backpack. It looked like he was plotting some highly devious stuff, with online classes getting reverted back to face-to-face only. Upon arriving at the campus, Woojin beelined straight to his class like a speedrunner, aiming to be one of the first ones in. Luckily for him, it looked like his crush was also early today, as if fate had intervened. Nonetheless, class began and our boy made sure Target-chan was in his line of sight the entire time. He was busy thinking to himself, man, Aoyang still has level 0 interest in me even after last night. For real. Clearly, bro hasn't been using his brain stats lately. How exactly did he expect Aoyang to gain interest in him, even with godlike abilities, if she has absolutely zero clue who's been ganking her sleep schedule? Nevertheless, with the first class over and the Susibaka not doing anything yet, they ended up together in another class. The seating arrangement was peak plot armor, putting them right beside each other like it was destiny. This time, the two were stuck at the very back of the class, giving Woojin a little bit of leeway for some side quest experimentation using Unit 7. After looking around and making sure the coast was clear with no NPCs looking his way thanks to a gigantic basketball dude blocking the view, bro began his move, reaching towards his bag. But before Woojin sneakily activated his skill of touch inside the backpack, he double-checked his phone to remember his current quest log and potential rewards. Upon peering at Aoyang's profile stats, bro learned that if he reached the 100-point threshold after locking someone in as a target, he's going to unlock additional features he hasn't yet discovered. Shortly after, bro locked in Aoyang as the target using his mind no jutsu. He proceeded to reach underneath the desk to test his hypothesis and make sure everything actually works. Funnily enough, Professor Oldman was yapping about technology right when Woojin decided it was time for the main event. He activated Unit 7. Aoyang let out a gasp so loud it was like a sonic boom in the otherwise silent classroom. The entire class, including Prof's suspiciously shiny bald spot, snapped their heads back. All eyes were on the back row. Aoyang, caught in 4K, immediately went into damage control, claiming she totally hit her funny bone on the desk. She also said that she was dozed off, but this just leveled up the bald man's rage meter. His face went full anime evil villain reveal while proceeding to absolutely berate her in front of everyone, giving a masterclass in public shaming. But while the prof went back to his lecture, our boy Woojin was mustering courage levels he'd never accessed before. This was it. His first time talking to a girl in this life simulation, so he leaned over, trying to be effortlessly cool, and told Aoyang, "Hey, you dropped your pen." But the real reason he talked to her wasn't to get that sweet Riz XP. Nah, he just needed to make sure the universe wasn't pulling a fast one since she was actually the target. Meanwhile, Aoyang was in her own head, performing mental Parker, telling herself to not get ganked again, since that ghost thing cannot pull that stunt twice and her public image is already in shambles. But just when she thought this was a one-time filler episode, her worst fears became canon. Our resident Susibaka continued his forbidden jutsu, launching stealth attacks against her, while simultaneously locking onto her with the intensity of a Sharingan user. To make matters worse, we discover he brought a whole separate device like a remote control for his chaotic power levels, perfectly compatible with Unit 7, so this truly made him a menace. Like a low-tier villain testing their powers, Woojin decided level 1 just wasn't enough data. Time to escalate. He flicked his remote, boosting the power. Level 2 activate. Aoyang was internally screaming. Her stats were dropping rapidly. She was trying so hard not to get yeeted out of class for disrupting the learning environment with an involuntary release of chakra. As level 2 hit, her eyes closed, basically entering her eyes have left the chat mode, hoping brute willpower could counter the attack and prevent anyone from noticing her critical state. Eventually, the duel reached its breaking point. Aoyang couldn't risk leaving a waterfall signature that would expose her failed defense against the forbidden technique. She bolted, retreating from the battlefield of advanced learning, dashing into the hallway. Then Woojin finally took a break, looking down at his hands. Nani? What was this new substance that had appeared on his skin? A mysterious consequence of using forbidden tech, he thought, since he'd never encountered this debuff before. Elsewhere, Aoyang was in the healing zone, deploying her infinite drying supply against the relentless water jutsu user. This was a boss fight against her own anime biology. The universe was truly testing her. Her sacred barrier, the ultimate defensive lock, was compromised beyond repair and had to be sacrificed into the bin. Without her main line of defense against unwanted intruders, she sighed, defeated but not broken, so it's time to head back to class, hoping the enemy had retreated and no more secret forbidden jutsu would be activated while she fought to pass this major class. As she approached the classroom door, thinking the coast was clear of ghosts, our menace reappeared. Standing right there, Woojin grinned, lifting his remote, and with one dramatic, gigantic swipe of the dial, he powered Unit 7 up again. Seeing his opponent run off once more, Woojin decided this wasn't enough for this training arc, so he activated Max Turbo Boost, watching Ayoung speedrun down the hallway towards the safety of the bathroom like a character fleeing into the flame horizon. She barely made it herself into a stall and locked it, collapsing in a heap of panic. Surely endless attacks were over now, right? Wrong. This was just the beginning of the ultimate side quest, where it's revealed Woojin had followed, entering the men's bathroom, Unit 7 in hand. He found the stall, sat down, and prepared for the final major assault. The Sussy Fire Nation was ready to unleash its ultimate fire power. 1 minute later, the inevitable canon event. Ayan admitted utter defeat from her stall, shocked as the torrent of unimaginable force was unleashed. Her powers, fueled by desperation, landed a direct hit onto her stall door. The shockwaves somehow duplicated through the walls and out of Unit 7, because on Woojin's side, it hit his ceiling with a victory-scented torrent. Bro, after seeing what just happened, screamed, "Like and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more epic duels." Anyways, with Ayoung absolutely wiped after exerting everything she had in the legendary invisible battlefield of pure chaos, she about to get cooked again. So before she could even catch her breath, another invader dropped in. Enter Woojin. Bro was tired of using his helpful magic staff, so he decided it was time to bring out the real firepower. Within seconds of our boy subbing in main character style, a whole new wave of energy started blasting Ayan directly. It sent her straight to a dimension of bliss she'd never experienced. Woojin, channeling his inner tryhard, kept dialing up the power. Every second was like a power level increase. At the same time, Ayan's cute shoes started falling off, kinda like when your brain cells leave during every Monday morning lecture. After just a couple minutes, Woojin closed his eyes. He knew he was about to hit the ultimate power-up button, the kind that makes your soul leave your body briefly, since Bro couldn't handle the alien-like forces causing Unit 7 to contract repeatedly. Eventually, Woojin's domain expansion ability finally dissipated. He was forced to put his head down in defeat, having smashed his limit test again. But this time, Bro almost entered the shadow realm from all that chaotic energy being released. However, upon rebooting his consciousness, Woojin's eyes popped open. He somehow saw Ayoung, even though he definitely hadn't moved. Bro was shook. He realized he might have broken through the 100-point threshold and unlocked a new, slightly questionable skill. Perplexed, Woojin even attempted the classic anime glasses push-up move with one hand to check if he was just hallucinating, but nah, it was like he had activated teleportation jutsu right in front of her, like a literal ghost spectating. Bro then sat there, the sussy baka he is, starting to smile and laugh to himself. He couldn't believe his luck. He just pulled an SSR skill set. Fast forward to the evening after surviving classes, Woojin decided to head home after actually hitting the books for a bit because, yeah, he's still a nerd. But as he exited the college campus and headed towards his place, that same neighbor who witnessed him unbox his powers the other day accidentally yeeted into him while on her run. And fam, you know how it is in anime. She didn't just bump him. Oh no, she went full shonen protagonist, face-planting at max velocity right into our unsuspecting boy. Unluckily for Woojin, he took the full brunt, cushioning her fall like a human crash test dummy. But the only thing he cared about was 7 possibly falling out in the open. After making sure nobody else was around to catch him in 4K, he quickly blocked her view of his bag and swiftly shoved everything back in before she noticed anything. However, because his neighbor nice, she pointed out a bruise on his elbow. She was apologizing profusely, knowing it was her fault, trying to make sure he was okay. Luckily, our boy is an expert in the ancient art of riz-free dialogue, skipping and talking to girls, so when she asked if he was her neighbor, Bro zipped off towards their apartment complex faster than I show speed. Regardless, after creating maximum distance, Woojin grinned. Destiny, or maybe just awkward physics, had allowed him to glimpse at what looked like a brand new gate that opened right when she fell on him. Anyways, making it home, Bro spent the next hour pondering if he could vibe check his neighbor from here with his new skill. But even if it worked, he knew he wouldn't be able to truly see her face until he unlocked the next point threshold like with Ayoung. Surprisingly, Bro decided not to continue being a sussy Becca, and instead he went full starfish mode on his bed to rest and process the sheer brain rot of the day. Fast forward again to the next day. Turns out Ayoung and her boyfriend decided to hit the mall to watch the Minecraft movie. During the movie, while Ayoung was trying to watch the GOAT Jack Black channel his inner Steve, She totally forgot about the previous day's wildness until Mr. Ghostman struck again, causing that familiar slight tingle. At first, the goddess thought it was her boyfriend being cringe, but after one look at his NPC behavior, she shrugged it off, while she internally panicked knowing Ghostman has arrived. Nevertheless, with the movie still rolling, Ayang's viewing experience was kinda cooked because Woojin had decided to target her again, activating his new ultimate spectator skill to watch alongside her from afar. After peeking around her theater vibe and checking the surroundings, Bro smiled. He told himself maybe he wouldn't go full power level 9,000 today since he gotta keep it low-key in public, you know. So Woojin decided to play super safe this time, aiming his attacks at Aeon's upper-level defenses instead of trying to pull off a full-on one-for-all smash on the first try. He was seriously playing it chill, but as he kept things on easy mode, the vibes shifted hard. Aeon looked disappointed, like her power level ceiling was way higher than whatever basic tutorial level Woojin was running. She was clearly ready for the final boss again. But Woojin actually didn't crank his power level past over 9,000 the entire time and really kept to his word. Anyway, after the movie, Aeon dropped the ultimate "my HP is low" line, saying she felt tired. But homeboy, seeing his chance, decided to shoot his shot. Wanna dip and find a place to recover? Surprisingly, Aeon actually agreed, causing Bro's brain to blue screen since he never thought his Riz would actually land like this. So they adventured to the nearest inn, hoping they had enough healing skills to get Aeon's HP back up. Inside their temporary safe zone, Bro went full support mode, spamming every skill he knew. He even tried save scumming, but Aeon's HP bar was moving slower than a download on dial-up internet. She looked utterly unimpressed, clearly missing the high-tier healing she'd experienced before. Meanwhile, her partner looked absolutely wiped, like he just soloed a raid boss for 10 minutes and failed utterly. But as Bro went to respawn in the other room, who shows up? Mr. Ghostman. And poof, Aeon's HP bar started climbing like she just popped a super elixir. She hadn't just recovered, she'd evolved into her own sussy bake of final form. Mere seconds later, Aeon's inner dreams came true. Her HP didn't just increase, it exploded as a massive, totally familiar dragon. Think the kind that raids cities like the Daily Special, appeared, courtesy of Woojin finally deciding to unleash some domain expansion level of power. Fireballs rained down like a chaotic god of destruction. But then, the door creaked open. Her partner walked back in. Aeon, instincts taking over, snatched the closest pillow and shoved her face into it, trying to hide her sudden power-up sequence. The unaware soul was like, "You good? You look pale." She mumbled something about being tired, while mentally roasting him into oblivion. Woojin, sensing the ultimate mood killer, just disconnected or went invisible. Aeon was fuming. She was this close to activating her own Six Paths Sage mode, and he just hit the emergency stop button. Okay, plot twist. Turns out Woojin isn't total chaos. He wasn't about to third-party his own boss fight. He logged off, probably went to grab some ramen and contemplate his next move. 4 hours later, full up on instant noodles and dubious life choices, he decided to ping her location again. His scan picked up some weird energy fluctuations around the inn still, like she was emitting big final boss arena vibes. He paused. Did he really want to barge in if she was dueling someone else? That felt kinda cringe. But the call of the chase was too strong. He risked it all, activating his spectator mode, the new skill, targeting the general area. But plot twist again. Aeon wasn't there since she already teleported back to town and was apparently grinding sussy XP at home. Regardless, Bro discovered Aeon locked in her room, trying to replicate his forbidden jutsu without him. Apparently, Mr. Ghostman was her new HP refill station because anything less felt very mid. Seeing his disciple training solo in front of a mirror, channeling her inner best, Woojin got inspired. Forget spamming fireballs, time for a unique teaching method this time, so he grabbed the nearest pen and started scribbling on his device. The words popped up for Aeon instantly, projecting into her space across the city like a private chat. As such, Aeon begins talking out loud to the ghost and reveals that she was waiting for him to drop Thor's hammer for 2 hours ever since she got home. And just like in every training arc ever, his target ended up begging him to unlock her inner power source. Woojin, feeling the energy coursing through him, didn't hesitate. He was ready to answer the call like a high-level player accepting a low-level escort quest. With a figurative snap, he deployed. He wasn't just fighting, he was mentoring. He started amping up his own power, guiding her through the process like he was teaching her complex chakra control or explaining different dimensional rifts. Nevertheless, with his spectator mode still active, Woojin couldn't help but hype up his own skills. He tells himself his power is off the charts. It's basically like he's a god in a world of virtual reality.